here with trade theory for what's today, Tuesday, February 25th, 2025. And we're looking at the S&P 500 right now. And you can see how prices started to fall out. We talked about a pullback, I think, about a week ago. And the pullback has been pretty deep. So it is actually in what I call a level one short. Now, that doesn't mean that prices, that the price is going to just go straight down, or that the market is in a bearish disposition right now, or in a downtrend per se. It just may be catching relief off of this move. So be mindful of that, because when you go out to the monthly chart, this trade is still actually, let me scoop that up a little bit. This trade is actually still in an uptrend. So let me adjust this so we can see this a little bit better. But this is definitely still in an uptrend right now, at least as it stands. So it could, obviously be different by the end of the day, and at the end of the month, because obviously all price has to do is close below this 58.77.34 level, somewhere around there, 58.87, 58.77, and then it'll be done. And then you have is price moving away from the moving average here, so we're starting to pick up steam, but a lot of times it'll revert to the mean at a certain point. So yeah, there is possible downside opportunity for sure. Maybe what's this, the S&P? So yeah, even as possibly as low as 4,900, in that range at some point. Definitely, wouldn't be surprised. Oh, I didn't mean to put that on there. Wouldn't be surprised if price got down at least to 56.88. But this is all a reset, and so what's the bottom line with this? What do you do with this information, given that it's starting to play out like we had talked about, where we'd have a pullback, and the market's shaking out. So what does that do for us? So in this point, if you're already in a buy, and depending on what point you bought into this, there's nothing for you to do. What I would do is wait, because now price is where it is, and I'm looking at this structure here, and price could conceivably go lower one more time. And so let me give you some downside targets if price decides to continue lower. So from where it is right now, let me zoom in a little bit. From where it is right now, price could pull back and then continue lower. Price might pull back up to 6,000 or so, and then continue lower. But let's say if it does go lower, where's our downside targets? The first one we'd be eyeing is around 57.79.03, and then somewhere in between that next inflection point, about 57.35, and then down to possibly 5,700. So, but now there's a lot that has to happen. So what I would do is just at this point watch it and see what happens over the next couple of days. Today is Tuesday, so we'll see what happens over the rest of the week. But the possibilities are a pullback and a continuation short, or price could actually V-bottom out of here and go back long. So as it stands right now, if price doesn't pull back and continue short, then the continuation move would happen with price closing back above 61.44.42. So I don't, we don't know if that's going to happen. Anything is possible, but what we have to do now the next couple of days is just observe it and watch, if price wants to pull back. And then once that happens, what we'll do is observe it for further movement. So right now it's in a level one short. It's pulled back off of these highs and kind of emptying itself out. So there's really nothing for you to do right now, unless, even from a standpoint of trying to short it, I would wait for a confirmation off of this move lower before I would even try to short this. So just standing aside on that. It's pulled back like we talked about at one point in the past. So just right now, just kind of have to watch and see. Sometimes the best action is no action. So moving on to the NASDAQ. And as I told you before, a lot of times these pairs, they move very similarly. And so we've got here this off of this area where I expect us to have a pullback. Price is actually starting to cut lower. It's actually going to be in a level one short if it closes below the, just ballpark, close below 21,182.10 today. Then that will be considered officially in a level one short, which means you have to keep an eye on it, because price could pull back and continue lower. And so same thing here, maybe a way to pull back over the next couple of days to see what price does. And continuation higher would happen above right around 22,158.80. So that's the upside move that would have to happen to continue long, which would mean probably a V bottom out or some type of complex pullback and going up that way. But the most probable thing is that price will pull back and continue lower. So if price continues lower, well, I won't say most probable because we don't know. We're really at that point of not knowing. But if price does continue lower, I'm definitely looking forward to get down to the first level, 20,866.70, and then down to the 20,666.80, and then down to possibly 20,005. Let me say 20,574, 566, something like that. So 20,566, 568, let's say, is a downside opportunity. And we don't know. So its price is really right in this consolidation right now. So it could just be gathering orders, and it could immediately turn around. So don't stake your bets on a downward move before price gives you a confirmation of what it wants to do. So standing aside on the NASDAQ as well, and then going to the Dow, similar thing. Price is falling out. This is the one I saw definitely pulling back first, and it's actually in the third level of a downward move. So looking for price to pull back on this for sure. And maybe it will, maybe it won't, but looking for price to pull back and then give us a determination of what it wants to do. So there's a small structure here I see that price could turn around and go back long. So where would be an uptrend for the Dow at this point? So let's say that price does not continue lower, and it stalls out right here in the area that it is right now, in the 43,450-ish area. Price would have to come back and close above 44,766.18 approximately to be considered back within an uptrend. And that would actually be level one long, so you still have to wait for a confirmation on that. But let's say price wanted to continue lower, price would pull back, and the next downside target I see would be the 41,731.06. So there's a lot of downside opportunity if this does continue. And based on what I see here, that's probably what we're going to experience. So maybe the indices are going to be falling here over the next several days, next couple of weeks. And like I said, first downside target is 41,741.35. So we've got some time to get there, so we'll just wait and see what happens. But looking and observing that the Dow should, wouldn't be surprised if the indices continue to fall over the next week or two. So don't let it scare you too much. It's plotted into the technicals of what we see here. So let's go to gold. Now gold is finally started to pull back. It's actually resetting off of this move higher. So you can see these small pullbacks here, and that normally means there's a weakness in the upward movement, or that the upward movement is going to come back down. And so price is resetting here. And this will be a level one short if it closed here at the end of the day. And at that point, we just watch because there's no guarantees. Price could actually just turn around and go right back up. But as it stands right now, price is bearish on gold, and everything is at a fresh point. So we really no moves to make, just letting you know that price is resetting. It's nothing that's actually out of the ordinary. Matter of fact, this may be a good setup for price to continue back higher, but we'll just have to watch gold. So definitely stand aside on that as well. Now going back to oil, WTI. It's finally dropped. I think I remember speaking that this was in a technical uptrend, but I really had the feeling that price wanted to go lower, and price is starting to move lower here on this as well. So it's in a level two short, as what I like to call it. And so maybe looking for a small pullback, 70.054 up to 70. Okay, 7644 down 69. So about 70 points. So what would happen? Probably 69.6 something. 69.60 or something like that might be a pullback point tomorrow, probably not today, but a price is moving lower on oil. So if I was going to take a position, I'd wait for a small pullback off of oil, and then I would probably look to take that short right now. So oil is looking like it wants to continue lower, and we'll observe for that. So I'd be selling oil if I was going to do anything after a small pullback. Crypto, so Bitcoin, I think I mentioned that Bitcoin was looking bearish and that it was ready to move down, and so it started to move for sure. And just would watch this because price could pull back and revert. But what would be a reversion long look like? So on the daily chart, what it would look like is price would have to, barring a pullback and a move lower here. So what we'd have to have is one green candle, one daily green candle, and then if we had another bearish candle that proceeded below here, then we would consider that a continuation of a downtrend. But right now where we are, what I would say is price would have to turn around and close above 98,517.32 to be considered in an uptrend right now, but I probably just bank more on price pulling back and then watching what happens. Maybe it continues lower, maybe it doesn't. So looking at this structure here, price could definitely turn around and go back higher. But right now, there's nothing to do. Prices, its bottom is falling out, kind of like we talked about. And now we need to wait for a pullback or something, something to slow down and give us an indication of what price wants to do. So we're really at a turning point right now for each of the major assets that I analyze on each week, and there's nothing for you to do outside of oil. Maybe oil is one of those opportunities. Maybe the next day or so you could get in short on that. But aside from oil, I probably wouldn't be taking any trades right now at all. So, and oil's opportunity was actually yesterday off of this level one short, where we could have gotten a lower time frame entry and then gotten in there. So still wouldn't even be in oil right now because it's already in a downtrend, and we would want to get back to a better entry point before getting into that. But it's definitely bearish, and would be the only trade, if I took any at all, that I would take. And that would be selling oil. So anyway, I hope this is helpful to you guys. Continue to check each Tuesday for this update, because I just want to share with you what the market is looking like. A lot of times people are wondering why the market just abruptly turns around. But remember that the market is just made up of math, and it's made up of the psychology of all the people who are involved in it. And that's what the mathematics is created out of. So anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and until next time, happy trading.